Live on TV as well as on Power 97.9 from the hottest and the biggest conversation in Ghana inside politics. In studio at 37 Abebese Street, the heart of Osu, and the air blowing all the CC regions across the country.
Okay, all right. What's the problem? What's the technical issue?
Sorry for that technical issues. Live on TV as well as also on Power 97.9 FM, the hottest and the biggest conversation in Ghana inside politics. The different studio 37 Abebese Street, the heart of Accra, editor in all the CC regions across the country. Midi Edi Mugabe Maase enei Accra aye deni na chese appeal court akasa ya enei acquitted and discharged and the diama honorable atofo say any japa say we move from huni say ambulance trial no nyina aba awie ye de election fifi mantem a enei ewaye beja capus ewo na ye Central Regional House of Chiefs His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ye omampania eja all bediem no abeje Ghana free o hawimu Wadini running mate yama Professor Nana Jino Poko Ajimai okoda na edi achire fifi mantemfo na ehon yekoso hu nyina no ye de ni eba be chere ne de bibia brown life no achi no ye beba na be si nkonya na obete lawyer Owi Brown o senior lecturer ewa Accra Technical University mo bete ne enka sanso ena honorable Timothy Ataboade eye former MP for Busa North Sandema in the Upper East region of the Republic of Ghana panifo ne no be si nkonya na ye di ensem ni nyina ho abobu ena yamfre ne nchire fifi Matemo Cape Coast ni akwahwe de ekoso ewo Central Regional Capital Cape Coast
to the administration and governance of the area, but that has also not been done. And so one of the things we are thinking is that in the constitutional review we must give chiefs some authority in terms of sanitation and cleanliness in the traditional areas. Give them some authority in respect of environmental protection in their traditional areas. Because the agencies that government has that are supposed to enforce those laws are unable to do so. Or even if they do so, they are influenced by bribes, people go and bribe them. And because they don't really have any attachment to the traditional area, because if I'm a police officer or a government officer, I don't necessarily come from the traditional area. I was just posted there to come and serve and go. So, as he said, Osofo will come and go, but Ebushapenyi will remain. The traditional rulers are Ebushapenyi. The government officers, the police officers and everybody will come and go, but it's the chiefs who remain with their people in the traditional area. So the time has come, and I'm going to talk about the constitutional review when we activate it again, to see how we can amend the constitution so that we give chiefs some authority within their rural areas for issues like sanitation, issues like environmental protection, and so on and so forth. So that is something that will be expatiated more in our manifesto when we launch it. And the good news is we're coming here to come and launch the NDC manifesto. And then, with regards to stable power, Osabe Nananom also talked about the power of the president. That will come in the constitutional review. our blessed Vice President, Professor Mills, instituted the Constitutional Review Commission, of which Nana was a member. And they did extensive work. They went around the whole country and they presented their report. Their report was accepted, a white paper was issued, and Professor Mills appointed the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee to begin the implementation of the Constitutional Review. Unfortunately, somebody went to court and restrained the process from going forward. The Supreme Court took a long time before it gave its ruling, and its ruling cleared the way for us to continue. But if you remember, the Supreme Court gave its ruling before the end of 2015, and the next year, 2016, was an election year. And so we didn't have enough time. Some of the things required referenda and other things to be able to amend. And so the decision my cabinet took was that let's leave it so that the next government will continue the process. Unfortunately, the next government came and they have not taken any interest in the constitutional review process. The only part they were interested in was political parties' participation in district assembly elections. That's all. And when that didn't happen, they just abandoned the rest. But I want to assure you that we're going to take up the constitutional review process when we come into office and push it to its logical conclusion, so that some of the issues that will make the constitution a living document and make it work for our people long into the future. We've used this constitution for more than 30 years. This is the time for us to look at it again. As Nana said, it gives a lot of power to the president. I'm told that the president makes thousands of appointments. And I think that we can amend the constitution to put checks and balances. The constitution was okay, and I think that we've seen presidents who have come and gone. President Rawlings came, President Kufuor came, Mills came, I came, and it is probably only under this administration that, you know, some aspects of the constitution have been pushed to their limit, because the constitution gives you powers to make appointment. The president has appointed in every sector, including the courts, packed the courts. Out of almost 180 something high court judges, only about 18 of them were appointed by previous administrations. If you take the appeals court, out of almost 50 something judges, only about 8 remain who were appointed by Rawlings, Kufuor, myself and Mills. And so it has now opened our eyes to the fact that no, maybe a time will come when a president will come who will take advantage of that constitution. And so we must put the checks and balances so that any president who comes would know where his limits are in terms of doing these things. For instance, the Supreme Court has no cap. But the Constitutional Review Committee recommended 15 as the cap for the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we didn't pass it. A president can come, for instance, recently they recommended that we should push it up to 20. And so I agree with Nana that we should look at the Constitution and review it so that we clearly define the limits where the president cannot go beyond. Stable power is important. If you remember, in my time we had the energy crisis. It came as a result of us not being able to put in enough energy over the years. Ghana's demand for energy is growing by between 10 and 12% a year. And so every government must come and put something in. Every government must come and expand the power so that we're able to keep up. Unfortunately, after the Abuadze thermal plant was built, no significant addition was done to our power. And yet every year 10 to 12% increase. So by the time I came into office, the demand had far outstripped supply. And so we had power outages. I spent 3 years of hard work resolving that issue. We brought in extra generation. We brought in the car power plant. We brought in the Ameri plant. Indeed, it was the fastest mobilization of power in the history of Ghana. We mobilized 500 megawatts within 18 months. And that solved the power problem. But there was also the financial part. We didn't have money to pay the deficits that ECG was facing in terms of paying for the independent power producers, because the power producers are different from ECG. They produce the power and supply to ECG, and ECG must collect the revenue to pay them for the power. But there was always a shortfall. And so we introduced the Energy Sector Levy Act, which was supposed to bring additional money, and part of it was supposed to go to compensate the IPPs. What did this government do? They collateralized the ESLA. So as I speak today, ESLA is in debt. And so the revenue that they should bring to help to cushion the payments to the independent power producers is not available. And so the simple reason why we're having power outages today is that government cannot purchase fuel to run the plants, because government is supposed to supply the IPPs with the fuel, and they are supposed to provide the electricity. Unfortunately, another aspect is that we have a lot of gas. I brought 2 new oil fields on stream with more gas, and as I speak, our gas supply is able to satisfy about 70–75% of our demand. The other 25% we have to buy crude oil to come and fire, or diesel to fire, and we all know that's very expensive. And so we were looking to expand gas supply. Talo has more gas fields that they want to bring on. ENI Sankofa has more gas fields they want to bring on. Because we're able to cover 100% of our need with gas, then it will reduce how much we are spending on fuel. Unfortunately, there was a case that arose between an oil company and ENI. They went to courts, and in the courts they moved a contempt motion against ENI. So ENI's expatriate staff all had to flee to Côte d'Ivoire, and they've been there since. So the money that they should have invested here to expand our gas production, they went and invested it in Côte d'Ivoire. And Côte d'Ivoire has made a major discovery of oil and gas during this period. And so our hope is that when we come back, fortunately the Court of Arbitration has ruled on the matter, and it has set aside the unitization that government of Ghana was trying to impose. And so it has asked government of Ghana and that company to go back and negotiate. But this is, how many years? 4 years too late. The president should have intervened and resolved this matter before it came this far. And so we hope that they're able to negotiate. If they are not, it is going to attract my attention from day one when I come to resolve that matter, so that we can bring extra gas on stream and move all our plants onto gas. We must also look at expanding solar. We have a lot of sunlight, and so we must look at alternative power sources by putting in solar, so that we can make sure our power system is more reliable. Central region has a comparative advantage when it comes to tourism, and we must work together to make sure that we're able to fully exploit that advantage. One is the traffic that you have to take to come here. If you're coming, you spend more time in traffic than you should have spent if you were coming. I mean, Central region used to be a 1.5 to 2 hours road trip. Today you can spend, especially at weekends, you can spend 5 hours in traffic alone. Happily, the contract for Accra-Winneba dualization has been awarded, and you can see that there's some work going on. Unfortunately, there's no dedicated funding for it. There's no loan. So it's GOG, and you know how this GOG budget is. But I just want to commit to you that when we come, we will continue funding that project so that the dualization takes place, because all of the traffic is between Accra and Winneba, and then again Mankasim. And so we will not only continue funding that project from Accra to Winneba, but we'll start the dualization from Winneba to Cape Coast, so that we make it dual carriage. It will make it easier for tourists to drive and come and enjoy the benefits that Central Region has to offer. We'll also reintroduce the young people who used to clean our beaches. If you remember, during our time, we had these young people. We paid monthly something to make sure the beaches are clean, because everywhere in the world they want beautiful sandy beaches, but they won't come to a beach where people are, you know, not observing sanitation. Others are going and doing unpleasant business at the beach. and the plastic all over the place, they won't come. And so we'll get all the communities on the coastal side. We will employ these young people who currently are not working, and they will clean our beaches, make sure they are clean. We'll put bylaws so that anybody who goes and tries to do that smelling business on the beach, will arrest him and deal with him, so that we keep the beaches clean for ourselves and for tourists, so that they can bring the income in. I think Osabarima's question and that of His Royal Highness the Vice President of the House are both the same about abandoned projects. I've already said that when we come, we're going to concentrate on finishing all abandoned projects, all projects that have been abandoned, you know. And so we already have asked, we have a special team that is taking inventory of all those projects district by district. And when we come with that inventory, we're going to make provision in every year's budget for continuing and finishing those abandoned projects. Like I said, we're not going to be in a hurry to start new projects. We would rather finish the abandoned projects, so that after we have done that, then we can continue with the other project. Nana Mankesim, it can be true that the opposition is against lithium project, because why do they call us the minority? We don't have the numbers. They are more, there are 138 of them. And so how can we stop anything? If they want to pass it, they'll pass it, because they have the numbers. Parliament is the last stage before mining starts. And so I think that they want to take their time and make sure that everything in there is in order. But I'll add my voice to yours. And when I go, I'll ask our side, the minority, to, you know, help expedite action on that particular project, because research is going on and new sources for these electric vehicles are being discovered beyond lithium. Recently, the Japanese have discovered some other way of creating this electric vehicles that don't use lithium. And so as these inventions are coming, right now lithium is the favored choice for batteries for electric vehicles. But if we don't mine it quickly, a time will come to discover something else, and the value of lithium will go down. It has already come down with some of the new inventions that are being announced. So if we have this resource, the better we mine it as quickly as possible and take advantage of it. Otherwise, if time passes by, we have what we call stranded assets. You have an asset, but it's stranded. There's no longer any need for it. And so I think that is something, this is a national cause. If that revenue comes, it's going to come to help the whole nation, not only Mankesem. So it's something that all of us must support. So I'll find out what is blocking it. And Nana, me and you are on the same wavelength. We'll work together to make sure that this thing goes forward. We should be decent in our discourse. Our father was Professor Mills Asumdwe Hene, the King of Peace. He loved peace, and he brought us up. And so if you notice, I'm a man of peace. I never ever rabble-rouse. And we encourage our supporters to follow in the same vein. And your own daughter Nana is a very peaceful person. She's a mother. Of course, she wouldn't want to see any violence in our country. And so we send that same signal to our people. Often when I go through the media and things and I see one of our people has said something that is a bit, you know, out of character, I call and I say, oh, tone down your discourse a bit. And so Nana, we recognize what you've said. We will continue to behave as peacefully as we can. But we'll also beg that you speak to the other side. There's a proverb that utu jramafo na wetu momonisofo. And we also beg that you speak to the other side, because normally what causes the violence is injustice. You know, when things are not done the right way and you can see that you are being cheated, often people will not sit and be cheated. And so let's advise all of us, including the government. They are in government. They control the police. They control the army. If on election day they put out people like they did at Ayawaso West Wogo and injured our people because they wanted to go into our parliamentary candidate, somebody had told them that there were weapons in our candidate's house. And so they came without a warrant. They wanted to force their way in. And there was an altercation and they opened fire. And all of them were in masks, a Zulu mask and all that. Up to now, I went and visited one of the boys. He was a potential football player. His life has been destroyed. He can't do anything. He's sitting at home. And so when things like that happen, then it also makes us feel that the state is not available to protect us. And so people take the law into their hands. For the first time in our history, 8 of our citizens were killed in an election just because they were going about their civic duty. And there's been no investigation, no compensation to their families, nothing. It's like the government just doesn't care. So when it happens like that, and you think that the state is not able to protect you, then people take the law into their hands. And so we would just beg that anytime they also come here, tell them that they are in government and they have the responsibility. If you are president, you have the responsibility to ensure there are peaceful elections. When I was president, it was my duty to make sure that elections were peaceful. And so it's the duty of the president to make sure that these elections are peaceful. And please tell him that it's not in his mouth to determine who he will hand over to. He should just promise that when the elections are held, whoever wins, you hand over. But you can't say you hand over to John Mahama. If the people of Ghana say John Mahama they want and they elect me, you will have to hand over to me. And so we will appeal to you to also advise the president and his followers about that. Like I said, the vice president talked about abandoned projects. I've answered that. Let me apologize for the minority leader and the Central Regional Caucus in Parliament. Today is the last day of sitting, and there are several issues that they have to work on. And so yesterday, the minority leader, Ato Forsen, he came to my house and apologized. He said he knows we are coming to the Central Region and he and all his MPs should be here to support us. But unfortunately, because of the work they have to do in Parliament today, they are unable to join us. So he said when I come, I should actually apologize on their behalf and explain why they've not been able to come. That's why you don't see him and his followers here today. I thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nana spoke about discrimination in the corporate world and issues of gender inequality. That's very true. But we also know that there's the corporate world and the non-corporate world. So I'll try to address both. In the corporate world, like many other sectors of our economy, you will see that women are not as visibly represented as they should be. And the reasons are many. Qualification and so on and so forth. Therefore, the response might be to pay more attention to the younger generation, to encourage them with the education, to encourage them with pursuing their relevant qualifications and supporting them with advice, with mentorship, with whatever it is that we can do so we can change the terrain. And I want to refer to the efforts that our late former president made, Professor Atanels. You know, the NDC generally appoints many women to many positions. We had a woman speaker that we never had before. We had a woman attorney general and so many women in other very key positions. And if you look at the spread of women appointments under the NDC generally, they tend to be more. But you see, I remember that during the time of President Nelson, President Mahama, they wanted to appoint minimum 30%. They couldn't get them. Why couldn't they get them? Many were qualified, could have gone. But we also know how we react to women in high positions. So these kinds of conversations will have to continue to encourage others to come. There are so many obstacles in our way, and we know them. I know them too. So we don't need to rehash them at this forum. But what I suggest we do is that to isolate those obstacles and to try to remove them as effectively as we can. We know that the girls are capable. We know the boys are also capable. Let's encourage both and let us move on accordingly. One way in which you can accelerate this is to ensure that the affirmative action bill is passed. This bill has been in Parliament maybe forever. Our voices must be heard. Our actions must support the... Oh, I understand it's been passed today. Then today is a day we should celebrate, But it was there for so long. And passing the bill, implementing it, two different things. Now it's been passed. Now we want 30%. Who are pushing us back? We all know. The men know, the women know. So we need to look at what is it that might want the implementation of the affirmative action bill not as smooth and not as successful as it ought to be. I'm very happy to know that it has been passed today. Now when we move into the non-corporate world, we also have the women who are not in the corporate world. Where are they? Most of our women tend to be in trading, in farming, in fishing. How about them? And if you look at the women in trading, for example, in the market, you'll notice that the women are the ones who sell items that, generally speaking, don't fetch a lot of profit. We have serious obstacles towards accessing credit. We have serious obstacles towards accessing advice, guidance on how our businesses will survive. Where do we go? A lot of us go to loan sharks. We'll give you 5,000 and tell you it's 100% interest. Is it true or not? Yeah. It gets to a point where people even leave their homes. They can't stay because they can't pay, because somebody is knocking on their door every day. This has gone on for too long and is still going on. So what do we do to ensure that the women can also have access to credit? Even if the person is a farmer, has one pole of corn, how can she make it bigger? If she has no access to land, how does she get access to land to farm? If she brings a fish and she has no place to store it, how does she ensure that the fish doesn't rot and that she can make her profit? So these are all issues. They are not new. They are really, really real. You go for a loan, as I said, and the interest is just outrageous. But that's what it is. So we had all these microfinance institutions, and now what has happened to them? These are the times that women must make their voices heard. Okay, so that we can speak not only for... We don't have to speak for ourselves only. We have to speak on behalf of others who don't have the voice. And that is why I want to commend His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for acquiescing to the suggestion about the Women's Development Bank. We have been at the bottom of this struggle for too long. And being compassionate, being respectful of women, being somebody who appreciates the roles we play in the home, at very least feeding our families. And a lot of us doing it with a day's profit. He has agreed to set up the Women's Development Bank. And what is this bank about? This is a bank that caters to the needs of small-scale businesses and large-scale too, but with the difference. If, for example, you need 5,000 Ghana cedis, as I said in Tamale, and we give you the 5,000 Ghana cedis, and you don't have to pay interest, imagine how you yourself will feel selling. So even that stress is out. That always going to your uncle for money is out. In the end, having a bad name with your in-laws, and you know how good we are at that. That too gets reduced. And the guys also know that even if our profits can only buy salt, at least it's better than coming to you also for salt money. So this is something that will benefit the entire society, will benefit the entire nation. So if the woman makes profit out of the 5,000 and she's able to put that back into her business, with time she'll become self-sufficient, especially when she's either paying no interest or she's paying very little interest. So you build her up, and in the non-corporate world, she also finds her feet. So it is not about only those who go and buy something and sell. It's also for those who grow something that we can all, consume. Because as a nation, we are spending too much money importing food. And some of the reasons we know, that Galamsey, the poison soil, the forest reserves that people are willing forever. How did we get here? So thank you very much for your question.
Well, the also our Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast, and Yama Mason Ate, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Edina, Nudi, some eto na nanu for 150 mantemonim so and officially they say the Yamame Professor Nana Jinopoko Ajman ye running mate edema His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ne ndi samonye kuo no mo adanedi na wo ha efekeke we enye ayampia bia ato si edan wedi wona nanu ahemfo anim ne ma okwan se ejawo so kasa wo kanyansa asem eto Ghana fu nyina asum utie ni speech na asumdwe nko a utie dwamama dia asumdwe nko a ya no fo koye wo modie yesi etu mu fo kwa wadam no eni semadi asa obupi abonten no mokwa no nkroma no wo de koye ene wo compare to wa compare obi o person dwe ni obi asakasaka fi kwakubo nsam abusuafo yi wo modie sakasaka anu mope and the one difference no come 7 December 2024 wo kwa akoto aba to abama obi owo ifinyansa to abama obi a owo odo ewo tema ya wo da obetimi ada o mabunu da che ehia ho and to abama obi a oba contract osesade amanasefo ene ne mprafo woman no ma wo dada ni appointment nemo emerge appointment na emerge contract na se forge contract akwakoye ejapade ane ye pre edi amabusua no saa eyenkofo no mento aba emfa ma wo mesan se wo wo daache eni mimma daache ene wose adwen ho kane no wo modie wo mo ba so mo ba biwia akum asai wo man ntini ho eno no ene ewo eye appeals court na chese eho ehyiye papa na de course ewo ho no na chese ajage form akomiensa ena etena ase ni nyina fa ambulance trial no ajage form yensa no ekọ asetena no wo mu nyina eba wie no na chese mienu ejina se ensama eye honorable ato force ne lawyers ene ensama eye japa enso ene ne lawyers ede batu manim say submission of no case no ade se trudo judges form mienu say honorable ato force acquitted and discharged for hudi asem no esi enya de se yeto aso biem nti high court hwan yu ye wie bibia ewo bongarat de ekoso hu nyina no enya de se ejina ewo ha ya set ya bibia no ye de no ato nche nemom ya ma ruling appeals court akasa high court eni bibia ka biem na je se ade ba e ruling ba e na je se esewani ensase ye ka kire wo na enumu ena eye japa wono so ede na di nsem ede tuba se atamfo ne awu na no awhwa ansa na ene ruling beba no na eye chief of defense staff nyamfo eye pepra no akodina court akodina dakam akodi adanse ese enya ade ese umuyi japa edi efiri eye soja dwumadinum ne mom no ono a ne ka se wopese ba bia wasoma bedu no wokọ omu release no nti enye ba bia nukure da biara da se japa eyi nadi efiri eye soja eye dwumadinum na chese no so nim gwase ka se pa anaka eye 6040 attorney general onimu nwoma attorney general wabon attorney general owono office matches attorney general oye local champion okọ outside ya party na wada ho ye mana pakat na wada ho yetie sema japa eka after the judgment.
Well, all that I can say is that my enemies and detractors have been put to shame. I have been vindicated, and all those allegations that they level against me, trying to dent my integrity because of the conduct of the crooked Attorney General of Edam, it hasn't worked. I've been vindicated by the rule of the appeal court. I've always said that I'm an innocent man and I'm being persecuted for political reasons. And the Court of Appeal has vindicated me on that stand that I've always been saying. You see, I couldn't turn my back or betray to forcing or the NDC party, because I knew what this government was after. And I couldn't turn my back on the party, and I couldn't also betray to forcing. I couldn't do that because it's a new sentiment. And it didn't resonate with my conscience, the way I do my things. And that is why I did what I... Oh, no, not at all. So further, the appeal court's based its decision on the evidence and used before them. Oh, that is his prerogative. He's Attorney General. He can go to the Supreme Court, and even after the Supreme Court ruling, he can still go for review, if he so pleases. It's a legal process. And I'm a combatant, I'm a warrior, I'm ready for every battle. So if you want to go to the Supreme Court, I'll meet him there. Since you've asked this question, I want to disappoint to thank all the lawyers that in diverse ways contributed to this victory. In fact, starting with lawyer Rindo Sam, and then lawyer Ampakosa, and then lawyer Thomas Obin, who was just around here. And then also my current lawyer Tadio Sorry, and then lawyer Bafo Isha, and all the team that contributed in diverse ways. Those that were working behind the scene, getting cases for my lawyers, reading cases, and then working behind the scene. You may not see their faces, but they were really doing the work behind the scene to put together everything that my lawyers presented. I'm thanking all of them. It was a teamwork. So all the past lawyers, they also contributed their ways throughout the process.
Very well, that was Japa, Richard Japa. When I say, court to say, any Nasana, a year ruling Ebebana, judgment in Ebebano, Honorable Kennedy Japan, a member of parliament for Asen Central in the central region of the Republic of Ghana, with the card in Sembi Ebetubia, Inti and Sema, or Kaye ambulance trial.
But honestly, I'll be frank. Meaning, some no court here. But I disagree. I disagree with Atufos Indiano. Yes. Now truth will kill me because someone will be a minister of finance. Mese ministry be Edina Yabano establish LC Manua. Now Casadia, any among ministers now Mutuana Muheli Said. Muheni.
I will be a baby woman winning.
Well, but I'm telling you, Maridi Kakra, and I'm just saying, in principle, Sawuka James said, causing financial loss to the state because he established an LC for a ministry. It is not his responsibility to check, say, it is the responsibility of that particular ministry. I will establish an LC on his behalf to check.
And on to the BSS of any
what you say? Media, Mrs. Awu sue and no as causing financial loss to the state. I disagree.
Okay.
Me must state my position. Me so watching me, but
oh, there be
maybe
I have facts available.
I know the facts. I know. I disagree because yes, ministers, you are not even empowering anybody to sign anything because they will take a clue from Atufos Indian. It is a way from sir.
Unfortunately, no, Atufos is in court. He has not been sentenced. So they are okay.
Yeah,
I think so. Obey given the case.
Right. Until I'm saying court to a young canopy anyway. But you know, but my stating position means I can't. I am not against Obi Awam this can no. But the crime be alpha so. I've always had a problem with causing financial loss to the state. So I charge you know.
Very well, so we of was and then another Obano and Nisa Eshifidi a year den $34 million. A Yuba jam compromise and I saw a minute. Nasidi jail born another ban honey dear. You heard DBC. Debbie will not hand over power, to Mama Nina, Chrono Mubuninta. Now one day, Mobebo home a conta. Yabi a nature Brasabi Jeffrey and Natchez a me, and son and ye ready a course so a year Attorney General, Papa Godfrey Dame. Now what did I do this summer to Janice and Joe Wishasu, one did the mobile appeal, na de asi ni nyina no judges no ma anye fair to them abra ye bono bongarat ewo eye first winma japade ne nsem nyina kodan court no jetu mo say omo ajatum as an evidence no okotena eye wodwane akwa America wienhyem no ote no hwa nkromo say 60-40 wo hwa nkromo dendendende ewo eye wienhyem we attorney general we mo gofro dade me we attorney general eye medase technical and production team na ene parliament mu kopie mu ho no na eja minority leader eni nkofo edi na chi nyina nyu danase da wonya me nasi efise oye nana do so na chese me se beje fi ho ehwa ye se di ona bo atofo se edi nkunim ye de ko so woman ji na ye deep The victory of the NDC, is coming again. And we will say the wind of change, has blew everywhere in the country. We will say Sasaya Eba and Sakaya Eba. Now, and the Electoral Commission, so at the Ababe to the Electoral Commission, can say, Edwin Munyan for friends says some what to on the Casa. Say, I may do watching actually 1st August, Ekusi, a year 3rd, a year August. We more at the a year mop up, pray, Woma, Ebiana 20. Ebia na nipa no wayare akoda yare sabia ebia no wa asembi okọ na oba ewo court ebia akodi prison na wati ni antwe ni di no omo di akonya asa ababim say this is awudo ni nyina no over 260 something district o ma bie kwan ato say use office bia ne universities awodo akese no Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology public universities no ni nyina ade say omo bi ho ato say de bia mo amudi ntimi ewura bato mo no mo basa wo last say modi bitumi ewura abato ewumanum yetie ensema Mr. Samuel Tete, one of the Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations, what did you do?
Currently, there are 18,681,366 provisional registered voters, and we emphasize that these figures are provisional. As part of measures to ensure an all-inclusive voters register ahead of the 2024 general elections, the Electoral Commission is organizing a mop-up voter registration exercise to give opportunity to eligible persons who could not register and those who have turned 18 years since the limited voter registration exercise. This mop-up registration exercise will be conducted online. So if you are already a registered voter, our system will flag you out. The mop-up voter registration exercise will take place from Thursday, 1st August to Saturday, 3rd August, 2024. The exercise will take place at all the 268 district offices of the Commission, 26 public universities, and 41 prison centers across the country. Actually had series of meetings with MTN, and we have been given the assurance that the internet connectivity will be stable. So that's the main reason why we are not going offline. We will have a stable network, but in case.
Very well, not just any table, man. Yawada ebe kusi eye edamimenda. 1st August ekusi eye 3rd August. Went to me and chile udia yasamu akwenya kuchile udi na de ko so ewono. Yabada ho na ye ko eye sola kamera. Yabada de akabeto aso.
be na suru kwasi ye say hia pa na ye hwade ba ko pa yan aye bu enye gu so we can health ye hwade agboni for internal organs ama se niema ewe mu ahinta MPP said when say where is my eye won sabe kire ye external be hu but internal organs no de ye so be mfe ena yade bia na say how be eba external me eku bia no eleka affect internal ones no answer. Example, fancy obi akoma hidden internal say enye adwuma yana se pompo ye nya ye so nya high blood pressure na se BP obi se bi bia na liver ana se ne brebo enye adwuma wi a yes hepatitis bi ebe mana se bibi how bi eba liver ho na bi sunsanso aba obonsa fe no odidi keto ebe odidi a onye kesida na nya se ye pill ensim bebre obi ye se bi ne kidney na se ne sa hwaka obonsa ne junso sem enye ye se be question mark enti because say internal organs e bia ho ka ene may effect external me hu se nipa no enye disease condition na se ne ho mfa no na ne ye hwe sa internal organs no ene ko fa so bo ho ban na me ekme quantity amen you need for the friend liver and answer brebo no dwuma ne say brebo no say so for the friend metabolism and answer unse wo didi a in biochemistry you are friend catabolism and anabolism as you say wo didi a say a breaking protein is in back them into peptides them the circle be to amino acids na amino acids ni ekwa bloodstream nim na blood na picking we are now building blocks I bet me I produce fancy warmer tissues say skin travel say produce back be there when me nourish the pebiano number of RBCs because red blood cells ye nyina say moja do wa krom different moja do open mu ye nyina be say ma building blocks ye build moja globin no the iron no the ade kama na me building blocks now ye di carbohydrate na say the dia a carbohydrate na say cocoa de senso di fufu no ne namadu no me ka carbohydrate part asin banchi ne body na so break down but if the maltose no na ba glucose no na fe da pick from bacteria tissue na fe black capillaries no na adwani moja no na fe glucose no so adanda ne na my ATPs anasa ahoden a ye betuma to yensa kwaba. Now, ni pedena kwa responsible said when you did a breaking it down. Now more sa building blocks no. Now sa you sa building blocks abodo up no. Any will live an answer brebo. It's Russia so be live an answer brebo ho kasi apa. E when you do nya so fa so to one say o did say ya the otia no otia. One say ne nia say fit as say building blocks of blood no kran so di ho. Afebo so ma bon say ne yefnas no atwetwe kakra ne krom ketenkete bi so asase de bia so no friend why e chna mewu. As in the sense e when you wo no for so be any so when you say fan say sa how aba make KUS about department 2004 yes a project was be brase say you share the pedua kwa ni tima organs no fan say ye nya ade be fan say nipa ne liver function test na liver brebo no enye adwuma ye ntia ma be no de no onya so fa so ye ntimi nya alternative bia na say mo be nipa kro no ye ntimi detoxify ana say ye wash the liver no rejuvenate ma nya adwuma ye ana you know be and your compound when you are food supplement and has herbal supplement and what so lack natural clinic. We are not claiming anything. What we are saying is say supplement research Electoral and herbal supplement a bit me about detoxify. In other words, wash your liver no and I say my liver I do my SNK obey liver function test. It's about 6 parameters. Your range over checking on out overboard and tomu ebi below ebi into am ehu kakra bam say we live an enye adwuma wi a so lack na check na sida bi ye nya herbal medicine na say herbal supplement e betimi abo awohye o kidney no mu e detoxify awohye o liver no e detoxify na bo rejuvenate na what etma ye adwuma senkaye to one say a period of a month 2 months no almost all parameters or liver function test no out of place no nyina aba in place afedi pom so di dia wa sha se dode wo ye kese say organs na sha se adwumaye. Number 2 aye chair pa ye 3.5 years ho recently kidney na say o sa no because Nancy said that 1 2 na kidney mo block kidney na ade kidney na net and I say sieve asa the function back up and the sonny moja so na yi fin efrim on se sapa ne ye ya abenkwan a ye ya abenkwan ne mefe ne adwene ye wo wi a ye de gu sonye mu na ye CV to CV abon se chaff ne abeni na aka ye sonye mu na ensuo na aba now kidney na say wo sa ne ye nu say esone moja ne so na ma eyi feeling na afiri na afa tu na be fe ye urine na pass ko na emoja na etme do afusa ne ye enti ade bi e be man net mu I stacked and be block it tokro net in bia no e make ni adwuma ye na saa ne man ya itemize currently because of current situation that e organ hunting ya itemize makwa sa mensa ambese tu ho fo ho na body e friend heavy metals they can't heavy metal they can't cadmium arsenic lead saa ne ma we any kwan se e ba ye mu question say e kwa be fa so ba ye mu what they say most of yenkuafo yetukuafo nyinafo obu akoto agrochemicals bi ya try withdrawal say who sprayer try 2 weeks about 3 weeks and so twa sade man dey bedwa so most time as a biochemist so case mean design example ekura mawa me ekura ko mean design ma no mefa pathway be na mepeke se me pesa me na acute no wuntema mefa na respiratory tract ade a me de kwa be blocking respiratory tract no ontimi home se be ya ebet maku ekura na ntem. Now something similar any tardier pesticide weedicide meka enema yedugu info so to say from say wo info so na say oh sa what to say do na ya tro won say said we use no we use wa 3 weeks 3 weeks ya na they can say we 3 weeks no those metals it may break it down ya they can home subdestructive ekwa ni ya enu anko ne ho within that time once we don't want time na so na atwa no atwa baka and they want to say obiabo spray na fuso can come vegetables in the street 2 weeks in so 1 month and so here a sense I fresh opposite content mo twa dia bedwa so me wa no so sense market one so yeni machine detecting into one say me play na kodi mu e kosi ya pa boss those metals no I say e ko blocking nephron net na say kin net na sha say the however ye tu nyina ye pese nyina wo ye aduaba no say be ya ye bedi ya trase ache yes so say can withdraw wa na ya ka no anya sound back be of Messi apia once afa no o di o to once o na ase ase peja because a free atai moja nim even anjo odi me once o na ase peja afa so homia ezisi so afa bo so jonsa kakra bi na eba e bon kaye e bi ya papa ya ka o ma okone disease hold what me ka say e bi say bia obi diabetic obi BP send no na ya chon so you use for long period of time on so ya na sebe e ma to back ifeto kidney so it woma eda side no so bon say with time na when you be 15-20 years no na wo na se peji kakra e ka some side effects no ebio example so obi diabetic moja no glucose moja no edos no do because pancreas e dey produce enough insulin now I will say sugar so no sebe sugar craving e wo mu a once I think come te ba say bon say time e so make me so once I think come na be blocking net me ba say e tumi so no moja so ye Mr. You say detoxify kidney na say wash your kidney once a year. We are not claiming to have a cure for anything. What we have done for our research ni say ye nya herbal supplement a bit me I wash your kidney ni net ni na any ma ko stacking net na ma entimi so ne so I say so ne no e mosi no e be wash no a period of 1 month 2 months 3 months maximum it depend parameter benya as in kidney function test na e wash ni see apabons afi rejuvenate na afi wo na se na tata ni na afri ho short bread na afri ho na sensitive na afri ho de tie ne say o kidney no na emu blocking tin na onya asade no se sia oba Solac natural clinic I did latest research cry aye Emma wono wash sa ma mu da ho no ebe ma o kidney na shase adwuma kama eba sa enko fa ha obi ama de ntie do koto dialysis no say that is not called no a sieve and ason ye wo ki wo son ye na emuasi te de koto na ason mu ama wo bra Solac natural clinic your herbal supplement bo ason so we are not claiming anything what you can be saying say e will do a bit ma detoxify our shoe kidney net no yen pese be do be biansa de do koto machine so agofa hawaba bra Solac natural clinic ne mu awo enka ha wo kokomlemle koko memle wo Harvard Senior High School nche hona e na benya Solac natural clinic kuma sense your kentin kro no ye ne self filling station de enhwe ye din de Solac natural clinic kwasi be fan ko pese ho ni enkomo your number no e 0553 93 26 31 0553 93 26 31 0553 93 26 31 so person hwe o kidney any liver internal organs na your the function test as in kidney function test, liver function test, oba solak natural clinical you fit do bit ma run test na ma wo na in case how be aba ho a your full supplementer e bit ma bo detoxify awash ma wo na so what matters for us so e din kwatenten amen kai say quality first 0553 932631 0553 93 2631 ye twon se sanse wa pomode no nkwa ehuyan ehia Ghana man na ye dwen ye double so dodo ye twon se sia
back from the commercial break live on TV as well as also on Power 97.9 FM, the hottest and the biggest conversation in Ghana. And Asugusu Awuti from his studio, Howard 37 BBC Street. We are live on TV as well as also on Power 97.9 FM and all our affiliate stations across the country. Midi Ede Mugabe Maase, Ubetimi Afremi, Atam, Kolega Biga, the capacity man, Ubu Abuso Kan, so Biabu Rembiano, a TV station, a TV as well as a radio, so a Power 97.9 FM, spare parts dealers, Bia everywhere in Abusokai, or maybe be atum speakers near loud, or baby Abefabia, Tamale, Northern Regional Capital, Kesmi 107.1 FM, so a dem suku, ya, enye asem ketwakura, and sema, and Babe Simkunya, na to me Abubu, home seminal, and finally, a dear say, his excellency John Dramani Mahama, to me, Eddie Mami, Professor Nana Chino Pokwachimai, I could be more vivi mantem, Nidium, Yana Nanama info, I info Makuma Kobe, Ediasa, and Central Regional House of Chiefs, when you munina Kwakushia, ya, Umada, my minute, Edia Chena, my mini switch on my Asumbi, Nyan Sandia, and this and Apudi Nibi, a Jautunu for Democra, where they are Abua, a Preco, Queen, or Betium, not just say, Obeyan Hoofing, and Odia, we had Dane Preco, Beju Queen, no, I ain't Hoofing home. The ladies them boys best here. We are day at the say from Bonnie in Massa. We are day obeying Hoofing. And some know how you become some Sansuna. Over the weekend, your course so our Northern Regional Capital, Tamale, NDC National Campaign launch and also home and some Yamia Duman next month, NDC Ebelanchi on a year manifesto, Cape Coast, and also the Abecoso Honono. I guess more getting to the ending of August, you know, you communicate a year date, you know, Eddie Amaya have one year and a tier for a year later. Now, so 1 year a tier, Pepe, na Shannon so na. TVS was at a Power 97.9 FM. The Bacosu Biano said the Danny Daniel Yeno, Yadi Bia Befro, Yadi Befri or Eddie Abreu life. No 1 year echo so. Nasana a bit Kwansa, Sana Yanum Baba, Omoso, a woman Baba Betway, Honoma Betway, Nadia, Pace test, Nakoya Nim da. Opami a chin foot to a tankolega, and Yadi will be Hunibia. I also Hoyabeka home and some sound so energy and Necoso a peace coat, a fire a ambulance trial, a jebo. Janya Babidu. Finally, be to me about every year acquitted and discharged. Your lawyer we Brown or a senior lecturer Ewa Technical University or no Ewa sounds so as I a member of the NDC communication team. Sounds so Honorable Timothy Atabuadi Awunterim, where a former member of parliament for Busa North Sandema in the Upper East region of the Republic of Ghana. Penifom Yenu and Nei Yenu ABC Nkonya. Sedakasi PSC Medimosis Clinic and Eba Center ya odi Medimosis garlic capsules eboyen imietu mikopie ewo tamale na ye di bibia free ho eba ye no ye di aseda PSA papa na ede ema no dok nyamisha no nya okase ukodwa so a wo pe garlic capsules ya obenom garlic capsules ato ye beboa ma blood circulation etime di yem nipadua ne mafrusa ne yi boost we immune system na mo wagina mo na so brania. Garlic capsules American farmer on Medimosis garlic capsules pharmacy shop ne Heba show be Rembiano, Ubenye be at all. Power specialist about hospital, Asada Yamodia, Southern Safari Valley Eco Resort, also Asadana Hall, feeling near deep. Na a bit more coachele, Momo coachele by number at the right on Baby who are dancing. When we say yes, Massa, Safari dear Oboa, we capacity and alcohol. Amuzu, a year garlic bitters if Yamuzu Heba Clinic, so as natural mineral water and Hebron Hills International School. Umada Roma and attention to Jumedi Ebro. Ribra Rabo Makwaba.
Mugabe. Now Mugabe, now uko tamale.
Me ko tamale. Me free her on Wednesday anajo. It could do Thursday around by 11:30 a.m. near Otamale. Mene team ni na yako bibia so ya kama ya samba asumdwem.
Mugabe adibi wo ha osameka.
Kana honto.
Kama mpanyinfo ate na Mugabe ebane sana yesi radio personalities na yesi papa bia miminim no something that kwa fontem na nka wu Mugabe say a wu project NDC wu na nka o say the uber stage nka ye the uber stage a tamale
o mekasa yo
ukasa
I was given the platform
ana me hu no
I was given
tambe
we say na ye kasa ye ne doso
Ebi nkata mudi Shami Mabaya mudi after Shami Maede bakodo.
Sana Shami Mabaya.
Debi nka ose wo samrenu na edo ba because mu na we capacity amu kasa
yemprehwe.
Debi wow eya na the fun so say
program ni program.
Mugati
kwa NDC program.
We dey nyawu na wakasa me say me hwe
as a journalist. I went there as a sympathizer of the NDC.
Mugabe,
so a journalist.
I am a researcher.
What you
say? Manyama bi wo hu a say ka.
They can say I was giving you platform. I want to let me correct it.
Anyway, we dey fine. We work on person make am but
resuma kasa yemia the oye film yi the contest wo.
The time you speak matters.
Kai kwe central no. E be kasa na your life at radio station.
Mura wo kasa hia pa.
I was giving the platform. Bekasa aba haji won sem bekasa won sase anana do atonton watamale won doctors bungalows aye
emena his excellency John ne deputy vice president in making prof ebaye no
that time I was yamami another
waka mate
so far so good
waka mate
kama
ba Mugabe
kama
mefa kwenye wo ho papa bi or gas filling station. Anytime I go gas, no. Now you see, your manager say, "Me ntuaka." Manager say, "No, I am a student." It's not once, not twice, not. And next time I go gas. I want to see the manager. Yes, uniwo. Now, or they who say, "Me bahonomo." They don't want to. But Mishima, he was my student. No way, wow, a surprising. But I believe, say, I outie. Station way. I believe I can't know. Enti owo juma be ye na dey try me try ye no. Enti eya. No enti me ko na me talk as the BSM. I want to salute him. Whoever he is.
Regional filling station. Ma fele me tank be we e bi ho 2000 bi 2008. Me do ho say ye wi a me is scam say obi etu am. So enti me da kunya me ka say filling station.
Yes.
Metia
we am second koji me dana say
we bia we say we
yes we need me dana say me name say me student that appreciate me sir me dana say and I appreciate that gesture whoever the person is me huno and I'm cha sama for ne me yere so ahwe
okay
and I'm school for ne say school for me come see say na you hu TV soon exercise yes as someone can say and then you better say you better to mama
Electoral university
ejaba na
and as I lawyer
kakra anti some panel we will talk, we will speak the truth.
Mo akwa former MP na bi abako there
Bibi abako da nyame ase so amayan
looking good.
Thank you
lawyer nyina
thank you that is
Muhammad Bebenti amaya kwenya bia
for the favors and mercy of God, we have to look good, and all of us must look good and healthy, waiting for the change. The tsunami that is going to sweep across the length and breadth of this country through the thumbprint.
The will
is
of the
what
people.
We are waiting for, and it says yes, and it's thumbprint for the sweetest, because everybody must be part of this change. You must be part of this particular change. Anna Obia. What say we have brought a woman who is going to be the vice president. They should be part of the change. Yes, they should be part of the change that will bring a woman who is a vice president for the entire history. Okay. So it is not you must not necessarily believe in John Muhammad and whatnot, but you must believe a change, and that change must come. Change for the better, change for goodness, change for to reset Ghana to where they took it from. Very well. There's no any other fellow than President John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman. No any other fellow. And all our indefatigable MPs in the end come there. Party ebeya mamu krom han and this in boy Ghana phone a better fantastic share Niama Okuja to Diba, the president's daughter. The president's daughter. The president's daughter. Nanado ne ba. There's no any president. Aneba etimanya contracts over $108 million. Mugabe, we name the cost of the Pokwase interchange. The total cost of the whole Pokwase is $94 million.
And another bank.
And another bank, $108 million.
Ambulance.
When the money at the Yano. You know what pains me? I'm not saying this that I don't like Nigerians, but you know how they'll be spending the money with this and thinking that we are fools. It's not MP. I mean, people for no they should open
Nigerian
too much. Mugabe, the whole Pokwase interchange, you know. My brother, the whole Pokwase interchange is $94 million. Now this car, I brought them in the amount of girl. The whole Pokwase. Imagine the number of Pokwase.
Not two, no, because of so €2 million.
Yes,
no person push it. No, do being coded. So
Mugabe. The president's daughter and the boyfriends, the president's daughter, and then for Nigerians can do that to the taxpayers' money. Aided by the finance minister.
All is well.
That guy.
The president will be advancing his idea. We now we be a winning vote now.
You soon as a conduit.
We share Japadia document now. Or change now. Or
change one.
Your picture has been on this thing for how many years?
I feel will be here.
One. We picture the data.
The birthday same man 2 million.
More GMPC or no GMPC sikafata
the Japan document in there about 50
is the one. Look, the picture has Mugabe to her. Can they do arm robbers and put you a lawyer? Can they put you a picture that would happen? Won't you see them?
I'll see them.
Mugabe, can they do prostitute magazine?
No
picture there.
Unless I'm a prostitute.
Unless you're a prostitute. Unless you're a lawyer, you know that no one can put your picture.
Abatement. Why you grab abatement? Say cover page. Forward. Say
the colonial government has so painful.
My father taught
your daughter
for 31 years.
Because
my mother been, he knows my mother. My
father taught a lot of people who cry. What's 31 years.
Let's move on.
Across the
Very well. We want to salute the leadership of Parliament. Salute every NDC through your media. You have to serialize the document.
No, we are going
you to have start, to do serialization.
We are going to start
from paragraph to paragraph. Yes. Serialize it. Serialize
it. Content by content, sentence by sentence. You have to go into detail.
Line by line.
Line by line.
And you are friend of team. We don't worry. Now more enjoying the no more say yeah kwan ma one here.
No say 4 more for nana no.
What you say?
And I know no car 4 more for nana.
Today the Madam Vida Ahiable. Oh, Ashama, we are NDC, a woman, a coordinator. Wilfrey Robert, or a Eswaziha, or say, Yemfa and Chiemo Dropa, and Fa Emma and every. Well, yes, I said enough, you know. Honorable Timothy Ebeseti, a Janano Amame, Janus Ubumama, Inkum Kum, na Nessa dear Tiano, and Tia Safe, a course so, a war a year a peace court. Akwa yemre asemo ye ma me sha se free lawyer ho na do justice to the
content was I mean found call
me can tintin yanko abai say
2 million plus euro bi contract Zambia supply of ambulance bi yesi papa bi di japa no na or facilitated contract no and atufo na Minister of Finance and mandating say also seal no raising letters of credit no umfantua sasikana kano what this sono is to force a cause financial loss to the state. Assembly Echo High Court omudi assembly no Mr. Jakpa first now no say canon ka assembly no omudi na be fuam no Attorney General na of referendum say on kasa in a way edi to force be share nsemu ama to force no court no be convict no ama ono Jakpa SC Odami yebo Odami oye Attorney General no e ka kire ne say sa pressure we if President Akufo-Addo and Akenufureta no ye Minister of Finance wako signing $34.8 million deal bi ama Akufo-Addo ne ba ono Akenufureta was sign sa deal we Auditor General si deal we enye deal papa no ono si yam prosecute ato forcing assembly bubo na nise na assembly ebe hunran nti no omo hwemu awo mrakwan so no na enye assembly wo say ato forcing no yen to aso prosecuting and ni lawyers file for no case ni say omo hwe nsem mu se na submission of no case and masem no eye no ni lawyers ni si debi se na hwe asem mramu no I was say asem we there asem poti bi nimu I was say ye gina so nye dan ye prosecute at 20 omo ye entry of submission of what no case at the Kosa High Court no mamini say nya ade obeja to mu da asem de was say dan ye to aso and a lawyers no esan say your courts no we shall say your district courts your circuit court your high court and regional tribunals your court of appeal and our Supreme Court na highest na asamfi High Court na ye ka na weni anje ho a court of appeal na lawyers no omudi mranso nti no sa submission of no case na no ye wo her ladyship if that's our court no obogu is asem ento aso no
chief justice say fa na Supreme Court
amide minimum okay no atu force lawyers say sana usi bo asem no gu ye no ye dwen say and twai ana mo de call Supreme Court Court of Appeal now what is say sana ene Court of Appeal setting date no the same the men so High Court say Atufos should open his what defense to omoko Court of Appeal first na omoko Court of Appeal no Court of Appeal they from 3 wise men assembly be Court of Appeal no nkrofo miensa na tena so ti judges na hwemu na mo say Ghana de se na essence nkrofo eye bobo no say camera ni ti mienu se nsemo a ato force lawyers na kan no say na ye hwenne mu no ngina so bia ni ho a e wo say gina so e fa prosecute ato force no no kra enti asam osomu entwem mamu ntuaso but judge ba ko say ono de sana sawa mame ladyship sawa ra kai no ono de gie no to mundi ono e dissent ye enti acquire 2 against 1 na court na kwa ne sanso a na chese ne 2 against 1 e favor no odi bim enya sa na muka no enti ene na me other room ato forcing omuko Court of Appeal say ato forcing e was say asema ya ka ato ne say why boni bi no ye yi efini so a court inside there as a discharge no he has been acquitted and what discharged and the court say assembly ni hu fitina konso here wetimi akọ free you efi nsamo and what do e ba ni sana che say asem na ekoso wo high court no entimi here aso etwa entimi here enkoso biom. So once the court of appeal had decided say or have ruled that he has been acquitted and discharged, there is no case against what Atufosin. And all the lawyers needed to do is to come to what the high court to come and tell the judge say, Madam, as I'm court of appeal say there is no case to answer. Our clients have been what acquitted and what discharged because everyone say court of appeal kasa
date almost 30 November.
Say ni na zana ye say ni ma
na
yeah
and the sentiment file candidate be e wo constituency na che say
na ko bibi
what was
one na ni ye me nwan say ye di asem we na attorney general for the first time me who attorney general why press conference on a criminal trial apart from Godfred Dami me who that
64
that is me who that ebia mpemfo ni bi but I've not seen some before because I say can and also be appeal to the Supreme Court it is his right so appeal to what the Supreme Court but me nim nia ewo asem yi mu a ama Godfred Dami na ni abre atofo say can
do ba ne nam ho
can na me dream say auditor general because atofo auditor general and bank say atofo wa cause financial loss but auditor general report can be say nanado baby father your friend papa be from okoro oni nanado ba awo oni nanado ba ni kan for yata no no omo fanyansa kwan bi so
se kamala
adibo oman ka $34.8 million for ambulance spare parts. Ambulance spare parts for about 300 ambulance. As kano, uchi chama 300 ambulances are. Ambulance bakubia spare parts. 113,000 United States dollars. As kano, ebetimiato 1 brand new ambulance.
Parts
sika. Me dream one
for too much.
Me dream one. Mentiasie. Enti adena niana msusu say Godfred Dami so pa man here na nkanye which hand be na wo ya. The right people to go after no. Eni na do ni ba okoro ni Kafurata ni o ma science adin. He should focus over there. Because auditor general will be his witness.
Honorable Timothy Wadauruma also odi be ka ho na fe o de me akọ ofiri wa na o de me awura eye de course e wo tamale no na fe finally yafa ye maame na na je no de course keep question.
Lawyer can't send it was a complete waste of people's resources. It was a complete waste of time. It was a trial that ankanyesa and simple that. Complete witch hunt, much ado about nothing trial the course simply because Oma accuse the NDC of corruption. Omba want to me nya obi anumu do awon betimi de na kwaje na aka say corruption na ye kan ye de Atufosin who was a former finance deputy minister who is also a leader. Ntina is like a big fish. Inti anket me pushing the share your prisoner na che say na ye ka say NDC ye corrupt man who say ye the minority leader ko prison. That was it. It wasn't for anything. I've been telling you, look, the Attorney General, by the conduct of the Attorney General himself has caused financial loss to the state. If laws were working, this Attorney General should be picked for causing financial, for wasting our time, for wasting resources, and even when is it Big C? The company in Kazakasa say, ambulance and say mon fambra and betia mu 2.3 million euros, not even dollars, euros. Oh, do you know Munima de Kra anka 2.3 million euros betima yama for Ghana for the dialysis center, for hospitals, for children, for unpaid school feeding program. Do you know how much? 2.3 million. This year, I'm going to acquitting at this charge and also Sikano so aboye. Into why now cause financial loss to the state? Is it not the Attorney General? Attorney General should be charged for that. It is completely nothing, waste of people's time, and the show of what? Bad governance and attitude in this country. For me, no, so maybe and then some others charge, and I was happy. First of all, they waste all our time, and their my unit was so political that one person comedy had to force and call jailer. Not quickly they would have done what do you call it? By-election. But you see, me person be called by-eletion because what didn't call jail? It doesn't mean that the case has ended. You are a lawyer, you know that there was time for appeal. It can even go up there. Why would you think that within that 3 months, you can forcefully have a what do you call it, by-election? That means you are in link with the EC to conduct a by-election, irrespective of the tendency for the case.
Some can say, Jack Babisa Attorney General say, are you sure some we by-election now? Central region for yes, it's really cheap. Only
cheap people. Central fund only cheap. Central
region.
Yes. Into media, the also under the MPP is complete bad governance. Ye banny ye can about MPP. A man for case, ye tower money can. Look, since the day now President Akufo-Addo. Yesweni ina or kokan ubi speech or the better than Ghana. Ghana has never had good health up to today. Everything about Ghana has gone haywire. Everything about it. Anna, and yeah, we show a man for my cause financial law to the people of this country. Look at the way a minister for rules here. He sat and council. Your friend is saying road tolls, which runs over millions, hundreds of millions of Ghana cities. Then they now you know can you share the president and one ba Jankuma and then the boyfriend. And then the boyfriend. Ghana sika from 34.9 million dollars, not cities or dollars, to 54.3 million dollars. For the president's children, the president's daughters. Before that, this is what we even know. Other contracts are including the restaurant in Komakwesi, $6 million. They all be here. So the president, his family, his cabal, including documentation of the call, yes, Ajapadiemo, and no more unfolded. They are implementing those things. Yes, you know, cannot even the MPP people should be a Gomo party, no. The MPP people was so party. Not some plan,
because under the Fourth Republic,
yes.
Well is abako. One is a dear no Omaja Padebe no Tonton.
One is there,
ne baba ne te say yes. And one is Okoye Kufoba no dear apart from hotel wa no crowd.
Yes.
What is say Kufoba back or contract akoyi apart from one hand means by Kofi Mahama by yes Mahama were corrupt were hotel Dubai Sergeant for Captain Smart number out say what can man do mo call training mo say mo just actually say John Mahama find the born channel John Mahama baby ya who send the back to hotel send the back to see restaurant send the back to contract not even the brothers ni ba obeti se wa bibi se obofu no nipa ba kope ena meyere ya meni na twempena Nigeria ni ba meni ne wo ye ne ba me de we amano duty free shops me de amano me de we amano antai sabe mpredua se engineer na
ya san fan bana juma at the is it tourism what
she was a
creative arts. The girl is still an employee. And you don't know show suffer from Bano.
My friend, Czech Republic, Virginia, Hesse.
Yes, or call him 8 years and he has not even changed. Into the then we are asking for them to be changed for Ghana to reset.
Now, honorable, you're signing contract.
Yeah.
Emma Jankumo kwame Akufo-Addo bano oye ni wafa Kenoforiata so Akufo-Addo cousin
yes
ana wafa sign contract ma wafa say
the youth do to mo
president eno ye ni papa
honorable
enti
ye what ye hu de asi ewo eye Kenya Ruto ne yere ene second lady skako mo nyina no ye ya dan ye ya fi ho nti Ghana for it me tintesu kokko entre na Akufo-Addo say enough is enough.
But Nigeria wants Nigeria president speech. Yes. The office of the first lady has been scrapped. He's reducing his salary to 50%.
Now, and you saw it. It has been documented, and every page of that Japadi has been unfolded. Corruption, stealing public money. Including even children's money, has stolen everything, including sick people. They've used COVID as a conduit to steal from the people of this pandemic. So, and yet be new, but the new say people are still going around campaigning for this same regime. That is new to us. What is new today is that there are still people who are going around asking the Baumia, who is part of this cabal, no. They should vote for him to come and do what? You've destroyed this country. This country is junk. We are indebted. How can you the total amount of money on Mugabe 1.1 trillion Ghana cedis?
Driver near driver Banza. Yes, NG can enfi driver Banza and same. Then for mate near or driver Banza mate.
Yes.
Driver nuka yasho.
Yes.
And a mate near or mate and my driver Banza. How can a Banza driver have a good mate?
That is it.
Banza.
In what happened in Tamale, fantastic. Two policies came out very clear. The Women Development Bank and the 24 hours was told there, and almost everything. And one of the things John Mama Kawan so say, baby ye jumano no. Man kasa enso ye ba nyoma funa MPP 4 year no ba be we yes are not you are going to, and yes he's only going to sack you, you're also going to face the full regards of the law. And I was happy with almost every speaker. They spoke fantastic. For the first time I'm addressing the people. And it's a way of corruption now me kind discipline now we can say they didn't conflict security and it's a very coherent, meticulous presentation, and a casano it was blend with the local language for everybody.
National chairman.
And you know you cannot even what can you choose out? Secretary was fantastic. Samima Muslim fantastic. Lawless's daughter fantastic. Ayaraga, you mentioned
everybody was
people. Everything, and it was sealed. It was sealed.
So simply presented.
Mugabe, it was a fantastic
sensibly presented
program. And on him. No accident, nothing happened.
God is with us.
Thank the Almighty God for that. A lot of people juju. Sanke kwena nka the boninsi no mfasa juju no nyankopon de nyankopon moja no moja no kasa bibia. So you see they are bad in one of the MPP people they bad, even social media say anko no odwin sanka earthquake be ba honmo MPP communicator can take that. So for me the your friend is saying the Tamale program was on top.
Also tissue platforms twice.
You know, so for that and then the messages were very clear and a warning to all of us. And they spoke to the youth now no money Jumano. They were there and they listened. No one can deceive them at Mugabe. So that I want to congratulate them, and even the northern region, the executive, they did fantastic. The organizers were up. They ensured the right thing. The police did well. And look, I was so happy that our man for even put it to Facebook say crowd na ne wa bonteno. Crowd na wa bonteno. And so sing way 4 times. The crowd that was outside was bigger than this 4 times. So for me, I think we'll continue to organize. And John Dramani Mamazuka was way now my no. Asa everybody, every NDC fellow must move out to your constituency, to your polling station, and ensure that the right thing is done on the day of the voting. There's yen dada. Koto coffee na no nebetra ho. Koto coffee na no nebetra ho 24-48 hours until the last ballot is declared. No one is going home. Yeah, declare what? Yeah, the Anna or Sanka was say the Electoral Commission ejitum said resource no. Yeah, the best place to a polling station. Yeah, the turn my obi phone be a trap.
That is the law. It's in the law.
The law is saying
the
that
first place I was
the first say Hanuma resource ne wi a Mugabe eni yen fan paste wo Hanuma.
Dey na be wakra.
Dey no be ntino. Wa won mind the hon Mugabe so phone and we twa. Obi no twa.
Yeah, be twa.
No kita ne so
until Accra had na be change.
Accra dey na be change wo Hanu. Won sa intino so and I want to thank our team Dr. Manubo Amenko because Oma police the Electoral Commission and they've made the Electoral Commission to understand that now
and just no boy
now they've brought brilliant people and your mama muka no more omni Electoral Commission are quite the same thing. So for me I think from now to November Matisa John Dramani Mambeko Upper East for to start his campaign and I'm going to join him there. At a weekend or so, he'll be there. Whatever it is, I'll be in Upper East to join him and to ensure that all our 15 seats, 15 over 15.
Mama Tisa Mochama or boy Juma.
The same name that or boy Juma Pa.
I am Mompany for being so abaso. NDC fundraising on my
fundraising fantastic.
It is a year former governor, a year Nasiru.
Yeah.
100,000, 1 million.
Wow.
Ghana City, which is 10 billion old.
National boy idea. What's the actual manifesto? No. Offices now, they show on one of them. I feel so his offices were what we used to write.
I know Haruna Idrusin.
Yes.
1 million.
Yeah.
A year Tamalihono and Ashanti region. Your more Dr. Kwabinado for Abaso 4 million Ghana cedis.
One just one of the nation pussy upper west. What's up is here Nikita title?
What I call to
when him say Nikita title.
But Ashanti Bonamba Jeffrey Muslim.
On budget. What
I call $200,000
with our
Ashanti for don't joke with them.
Ashanti region, Nipa 4 million Ghana, 40 billion. Dr. Kwabinado for capacity now. What I could $200,000
Sisa.
Now we are former appointee. Or person the bank ba. Oh, yeah, former appointee. And we are waiting to see Greater Accra.
We are waiting to see because you know how we've come. We are going to raise funds.
And Inus Afuseni, 1 million Ghana cedis. Tamale.
And the yes.
And then one and a year the chief. 800,000 Ghana cedis, which is 8 billion.
Tamale.
Yes.
That Tamale from Moscow.
Global. We know. When no program, no, everything was free there. The man also donated 2 billion old Ghana cedis.
This election
capacity people.
Good for boot. Good for boot. Yes.
Acknowledge them because
no. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I must tell you, the NDC communicators are working hard. So we're winning. Yeah, our texting here from saying our serial callers, they are in dire need. So you can use your medium to raise yeah, they are in dire need. Yes. It's not easy for them. So you can use your radio to appeal for some funding for our serial callers. They really need. It's very important, Mugabe. You know the meaning.
Yes.
You know what they go through.
I will take it up.
Yeah, you know what they go through. One seed in palm donating money. Yes, I'm telling you.
On the campaign after
Usha Tamale launch of the campaign. All the people who spoke now. Kasama utia ubetie nyansasam. Wow. Now, once about me corner here campaigner, he looks like JHS for no muye omo school prefect in Ukraine is better. You see, sir, the man is a joker. But is a joker.
Annoys people.
Okay, sir. But when Mahama speaks, if Mahama speaks, sir, it is presidential. You could see, sir, he speaks with purpose, with honesty, determination, love for country. Now, crowd will. There has never been any crowd like this in the public. And these are not people I am Bastion say. As a region, Tabale alone, no.
They went with their own
fans. And Muga, just look at it. Now Muga say Chairman General Mosquito Esha his letter to the president.
Look at
Okasaye. Say, Mr. President, on manage making sure, sir, Ube hand over peacefully.
Yusuf, the ball.
No. Professor Baye, Professor Kasaye, bank policies. Look, resetting Ghana is also a policy.
Yeah.
Trying to what? Undo what the MPP has done.
Yeah.
It's a policy.
Because
MPP has said on my they are all policies. Until social intervention, the moment the country is reset and everything is moving on smoothly, there is no need to go and fabricate any social intervention. Making sure that there is proper governance is a social intervention in itself. And to all the people presented who spoke, you see sense of honesty, truthfulness in the and God is with us.
Split second.
30 seconds.
30 I am talking directly to our brothers in Savannah region. The whole world is looking at Savannah region. That statement I've sent to them is pregnant. The whole world is looking at our brothers at Savannah region.
Damango and other areas.
Damango. I just said Savannah, 7 seats. We are looking at them. We are not supposed to come and tell them to vote. They are rather supposed to come and tell us to vote. So that statement I've sent to them is pregnant. Anytime I come here, I will repeat it.
If even Ashanti is going with us,
we are looking at, but the whole world is looking at Savannah region. The whole world. It's not Ghana, the whole world.
That Mongo seat must be taken.
You understand the statement I'm talking?
Yeah. Very deep.
That Mongo seat must be taken.
Medase. Safari Valley Eco Resort and fast like I say and farmer or more a year wildlife experience. And you do what jata seba ope baby I want to family. Mo pese mo ko weekend and mo ko chile dia. Na mo di money actually but shani free a year man and aba na mo di money then actually no do one antelope see any zebra or more cotton no more ba when you beji ye papa say honeymoon and a jaw pe baby akwa kudi why wedding every visit womo na bibia so a birthday celebrations na bibia so for any actually one obo say yes omo provide a world class accommodation with private swimming pools would do recreational and restaurant services bibia excellent for any actually ho na bibia be kon kind amount na ohwe mo be ho mo e wo okre constituency eastern region baby e say dew from 0596914394 0596914394 ofroma omo ebejo so power specialist about hospitals amen kan chiro hepatitis A B C D E ni binete to fatty liver sciatica prostate problem and as you know penny baby na attach my ulcer compo and fibroid fani nyina akoda power specialist about hospital kuma so mo fe ya selic bosum twe kwantempo no so omni jazbo filling station no na edi enhwani mu akra omo akwa benya pokwase ACB kwantempo no so takrade omo wo anaje estate omo ben anaje MA primary school no from 0244544422 0244544422 Medimosis clinic and herbal center semen kancho where the Medimosis garlic capsules the abedwa so a boy improve air blood circulation sanso na correction ye woni pedua no no etumi eboa CCM bibia no eto eye kama edi mani pedua no ma woni ni pedua ni gina na so brane a science serve as an immune booster edi ma eye ni pebia oba no bema no pebina no said the be betumi aboa wo prostate problem minu bema sexual weakness minu bema male and female infertility hypertension diabetes sciatica and typhoid fever malaria and stroke any dental problem bia e ha wono fani nyina kwada Medimosis clinic and herbal center umechi akwan wo dental barrier omuni police station no ene edi ehwani mu woko Accra ministries nso a omo AESL building inside the Ghana Highways Authority yard ajekojo omuni school for the deaf ne di ehwani mu komasa hinema kokoben santaso oboase kwantempo no so obi hu eye Medimosis clinic and Eba center ho from 0244068447 0244068447 dog woni eye sweet mother mechiamu nyina ene ewie ewo asoyo amuzu eye Eba clinic amuzo garlic bitters na eboaye amuzo garlic bitters nunya binuma eboa improve eye blood circulation sanso na reduce cholesterol prevent eye enima bibiri free eye nipaduanum sanso ena obi a wohome a wo bre wo stroke unya eye amuzo garlic bitters minuma eboa ye papa reduce high blood pressure and minimize high sugar levels so no intipebinum se de be ya betimi aboa wo pharmacy shop bia be wrem Ghana ha no obenya enwe bi ato free 0247776743 0247776743 S natural mineral water nsunini eni mekom she obi wrem no obenya bi ato dodo no fo ne kire 37 na BBC Street ewo eye SWAZ broadcasting here obi hu Mr Robert ya dodo bi apɛ no nsa ebetumi aka mekom she obi wrem bi ano obenya S natural mineral water ni bi ato everywhere Hebron Hills International School say excel and shine media evidence and road admission eguso ekoso next academic year no tutu mirikana kopa admission ma oba next academic year no so no na boarding facility bibia etuetua ya oba no so western region or central region or eye tamale obese oba no best school e wo media evidence and road na eja bosome nan ni nyina no omo ehwe ne manwa woni how boarding facilities bibia no aye ready ema oba no na wudru ha wani beji hoye papa lower and upper primary admission go so Montessori oba no nya bosome nan kosi mfi numa ano so akonya ewo ho e de ma no excel and shine eni omuden mame ko na fe few minutes aka no yenhye bibi with ye mame eye prof na jeno poko agima mame sha se mfiri eye honorable Obi Brown lawyer na fe kakra bi on na jen eye so far ni outdoor no se ni sikoye
muga wo share professor na Jane opoko agima wo share ni dimina anything about that woman won't say Nyankopon ena waeden wa choose say she will become the first female vice president of the Republic of Ghana. She was the first female vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, and if I'm not mistaken, she was the first vice chancellor ever in Ghana. She was the first vice chancellor, female vice chancellor in Ghana of a public university. Afina anya bi kona le Kumasi Father le Gonfonso priye. And I could see that vice chancellor nso no obejuma policies ema school etempon ema nkoso ebaye. Enu ane ni nyama oye ni niye ni conduct ane ni candor. Se otimi ekor eye ni huni we ema ni ye yense ema yense mami se yadi ni abebata ye ho a na yadi ne ka mahama ho a obetimi aboa Ghana. Ghanaians begin on Mantiasia.
The speech in the Senate was no.
I'll use one word. It was sunset.
Kwame Nkrumah bi amaho.
Na waboda mana. Say mama Jane na dream you correct. Na wakokasa. Onye arrogant na wakokasa. Oyo bi a wasu abakosam.
Education
obi a owo nimdie.
Obu teachers.
Onim Juma pa Kwame Nkrumah ye. She has read enough. What I say? What him for so? Eti okasa. Cheni dimi na nini bibia. E bia on to senentino. Eti na onkasa no.
Very well.
E bia.
Ati ase.
Na una onyo bia obefua LGBT so. Tumu. Obia otan. Sane mo debi. Onyo bia obekasa yefa tumu.
Ne manyina your doctors.
Yes.
That is wawari awo.
PhD for ne wawari awo.
Wawari ade.
Debi. Enye so babedi vice no ko ware debi. Wawari hwe ne manso. Na wo hwe ne nso a. Wo suban papa. Syllabus na wo se beboa Ghana nkola no. Eno na odi ba ye. Won kofa LGBT and share your syllabus.
Aka 2 minutes tim fa kakra bi so so na fe.
Yeah,
sum up my whatever.
Girl, Madam Lucy Dufie Chumasi of Petroleum Estates.
Okay.
What's in any Jim Humpa now?
What's in any Jim?
Yeah.
What's Yamian?
Sending United Kaho. Nti he's an awesome small phone.
No, Chemu, program.
I just have program. Into what Chiao Lucy Dufie Chumasi. Yes. You see, interesting Mugabe. And this is the party that made I the professor. Mills, an obedi professor. And he took Mills. And Mills are going to take another professor to be his running mate. Is that not interesting?
Mills be a vice.
Mills be a vice.
From
Central region.
And yes,
was I a professor from Central region? What can I say beyond this, my brother?
History will repeat itself.
History is repeating itself beautifully. And very respectful, incorruptible woman, a woman of substance, a woman I cast away or your mother and now your sister.
Gracious.
Then you would feel that this is what yes, you'll be very proud of. Yes, that alone speaks louder than and also this official outdooring, the official outdooring now, John Mama Koyeno, shows the respect we hold for the chiefs and people of Central region. Beyond that, it is respect because so being him so your official. I am outdooring Accra, but this is a special outdooring to introduce us to our own people. Okay. It is now for the people of Central region, the chiefs and people. No, it's almost no Rollins was not a professor. He picked a professor to become a running mate. Right. The professor again picked John Mahama, who is not a professor, and John Mahama has gone back to pick a professor from the same region. DNA PBM, your chair Central region for your bumpire, my mom, your bumpire, your buffer. That somewhere cheap. Cheap Central region. Until your bump. Prove yourselves. A man say, God will see her through her challenges, see her through the campaigns that they bear. The tempo and He will do it, and at the end of the day, we'll crown her with victory. And ensure that
Professor Nana, any GM, and all our MPs, because they are working against them spiritually and even physically. But God shall
Miss Lucy Dufie Chumasi of Petroleum Estate, an avid listener to you. He admires the program entirely. He admires me too. Admire me now that my uncle and I had
students. And about the dominating Quemochina, Ebesen share the Zali 2 p.m. on Power FM, 4 p.m. to 6 on TVS WZ and Power 97.9 FM. And affiliate station Samutimi for Jumadi Nano, Yamiasum Jen Kamo, Tamale. Regional chairman Enemo Tamale nyina the American say Nyamishra Munyina chief executive officer and staff and management operating officer Mo a year Kazmi 107.1 FM so you see any kaja any asida Yakopon Shira Munyina say Moji wa to Tamale. And you know, see a cassiabo, Beposo hima, any team no, and a day ebrewo. Mugabe Maase, enemy din, big slim, yet she was also Agbesi Segbefia, and Chakesi Agbesi, the CEO himself, the boss player, champion Agbesi. God bless you and Agbomoje. Edimubesiha, Makram.